Harmonia, look at that. This one has been turned to stone too. Arkin said that the other Pokemon was called Latios, right? Or that other Pokemon, there's no the after, whatever. This Pokemon looks a whole lot like it. Maybe they're related or something? Impudent fools! What have you come here for? I forget what voice this is. Unless, we were told that Celebi would be over here. Would this just be Celebi? I don't recall. It's been a long time. And I'm also so lightheaded. I'm gonna wrap this up very soon after this. Who's there? Oh, this is Entei. And then the next part of the adventure is Fire Island Volcano, I think. Oh man, I'd really want to go to Fire Island Volcano. It slaps. But I'm so beat tonight, I can't. He came from inside the fire? No way. Is this the Flaming Phantom? I asked what you have come here for. What for? Just to check. Check what? Whether your turning Pokemon to stone was a success? Are you the ones who did this? Man, my throat hurts. Whoa, what are you getting mad at us for? I am Entei the Volcanic, and I shall be your end. What? Prepare yourselves for judgment. Harmonia, looks like we've got to fight. Stop. Who's this, Ampharos? It's Arkin. I don't know why I thought it was Ampharos. I might be getting confused with some other part of the story. Like, it makes sense for it to be Arkin here. Arkin. Harmonia, Klexos, stand down. This is not an opponent you can beat. Who are you? Name's Arkin. Arkin of the Expedition Society. What the? Expedition Society? Arkin the Flightless. Yes, I've heard of you. Then those two behind you are also. I will leave this place. If Celebi is not here, then my presence serves no purpose. Well, wait, Entei! You escaped with your lives today, but if you stand in my way, I will not be so merciful. You shall not trouble me again. Be sure of that. Trouble you. I just minorly inconvenience you by having you come talk with me, because you didn't understand who we were. He's gone. Are you alright, Arkin? Yes, no worries here. I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed. Facing Entei, I was in a cold sweat of fear, but I couldn't show it. Pathetic, No way, you were so cool. Thank you for saving us. And so we finished our first expedition across the sea. Just like I finished my expedition to the gun-toting capital of the US. Not the capital of the US, but the gun-toting capital. We went back to Barham Town and told everyone what had happened in the forest. And we got a ride back to Expedition Society HQ from Lapras. By the time we got home, it was night and we were all exhausted. Like I am now! Didn't even have enough energy to eat. Oh, but I have enough energy to eat. I'm actually really hungry right now. I'm gonna grab a quick bite. I don't know what I'm gonna grab. I might just make myself some toast and then go to bed. We went straight to our beds and... Oh, wait. No, we didn't. Of course, we wouldn't skip dinner. Yeah, I'm actually feeling really hungry right now. My sleep and food schedule is so out of whack. Like, my body is probably so confused right now, and I'm actually, like, really starving. That, or I'm just confused with, like, my lightheadedness from just sleep deprivation, and I'm getting it confused with hunger, which is possible, too. We were starving after our adventure. We ate our fill tonight, for sure. And then we fell right into our beds. Yeah, I'm gonna sleep so well tonight. I'm wondering if I just shouldn't set an alarm and just wake up when I wake up. Like, that might be healthy for my body this first night. In fact, it would have been healthiest to just go into bed and not do the stream and do that. But oh well. And then we fell right into our beds. There were a lot of mysteries that we still didn't understand then. Like why Pokemon were being turned into stone or what Entei had been after. Oh, he had no strength left to wonder. And now I'm starting to sweat, and I don't know why. I'm taking off my scarf. Oh, but there's one last thing I have to say. Oh, so is this Klexos' diary? Arkin was really, really cool today. We were able to count on him completely. All the Pokemon in the Expedition Society are silly, and they're fun to be around. But that doesn't mean they aren't strong. I was really reminded of that today. Being a part of the Expedition Society keeps getting more and more exciting. I can't wait to see what tomorrow will bring, so good night for now. Yeah, I'm sweating, I'm lightheaded, my body is very confused. I'm wrapping up this game here tonight. That's how it ended. I'm sorry I couldn't do more. Maybe I could have called out to Entei and told him to stay. But the truth is that I felt relieved when he dashed off. I just couldn't stand up to the pressure he exuded. How many could have? Don't feel bad, Harkin. This is Entei we're talking about. Anyone would feel petrified in the presence of a Pokemon like that. Why, if I ran into him... Oh, just thinking about it. Just thinking about it. Chief? Chief? What's the matter, Chief? I'd do anything for a little more to eat. Well, there you went. Just as I was hoping to talk about what we should do next. It's not like it's anything new from him. Just let Ampharos decide what he wants to do next. We'll focus on our regular work. I think that's a good enough plan. Alright, I can do that. And I'll continue observing the stars then. Please give me the prompt to save. I genuinely feel worse right now than I do at the end of a 24-hour charity stream. Oh, that hit the spot. When I get scared, I can't help feeling hungry. Entei, huh? This is becoming a real pain. It's about time for a midnight snack. And it's midnight in real life right now. I'll get a midnight snack, huh? Is someone there? Wah! My secret food stash from hoarding all the leftovers of everyone's meals. You! Salutations, my good Swirlix. These perfect apples are really very good. Well, if that's the case, then Entei. Yes, I think I finally have a clue. This is not to be overlooked. Now stop! You're eating them all! As if it were in fact Entei, and... Stop, for the love of all that is tasty. Yes, even if we have to take them on ourselves. Just give me the prompt to save. Yes. Yeah, I'm feeling really lightheaded. My goodness gracious. Oh, I'll just bump my microphone. Where are we at in the story? So, like, around the end of the trip, there was a lot of smaller communities and stuff. Say V? What? I don't know, like, if you're trying to transmit some sort of code word for something. I have no idea what this means. But yeah, we spent some time in Houston towards the end of the trip. And spent some time hanging out with my dad's old boss. And he ended up inviting us to, I think it's called an ice bar. It's basically like a pub thing, almost. Because, so this was a few days ago. It's currently, I guess, Monday after midnight, but it was just Sunday. So Friday, our last night there, he invited us there. Because apparently him and some friends of his that are also friends that, well, one friend that my dad knew as well, in addition to that, would always go to that bar every Friday night for karaoke. So they end up going there. I was the designated driver with my dad there, evidently. And these guys were all getting things to drink. I don't drink myself. And a lot of people in this group, they would be writing down like song requests, giving it to the guy at the front, and then when it's their turn, they'd be called up to go do karaoke. And like it seemed like a semi-popular place. There was a decent gathering of people coming in there. And it sounds like it's a regular occurrence of every Friday night just going in there and doing some karaoke down there in Texas. And I thought that was interesting. the culture there was very, very different from here. Like, even outside of that, I know that's not like the norm or anything like that. On the topic of pubs, last week, you and our dad went down to the local pub and he saw a Black Sabbath tribute band, and it was awesome. Really threw you for a loop by starting with the Judas Priest song, though. I don't really know anything with music stuff, but I'll take it that this is something really cool and unorthodox and really neat. So awesome. To know who Black Sabbath is. I mean, that sounds semi-familiar. And I don't know who Judas Priest is. But man, the culture there is very different. As my dad and I toured around Texas, going to places like the Alamo, and oh, I remember what we did in Austin. We went to the Parliament building and got a free tour around there. And going to places like that in the Alamo really taught me a lot about the Texan culture and how Texas very much likes their heroes. Very much likes putting them up on pedestals, and Texas is kind of very fiercely independent. They very much like their guns, and like, you're not gonna be taking this from us. So the whole deal with the Alamo is that it was this, it used to be in the 1700s, like a religious church kind of place, but then it became a war fort in the 1800s, where it became known as, I guess, was it always known as the Alamo? I don't know, but we were touring around the Alamo where these battles took place, where these Texans were holding off the Mexican army when the current dictator was going through and trying to get land and stuff. And the Alamo did fall. They held them off for a decent while. They did fall, but then after hearing about what happened at the Alamo, other Texan troops came in and cleaned up and got decisive victories. And it seems like a lot of Texans very much put the Alamo on a pedestal of like, wow, these brave men, they held their ground. They did not give up no matter what. They held off those guys for a really long time. And even as they were being overrun, they did not give up. They did not surrender. These are amazing heroes here. So stuff like that is, I feel like, definitely a part of definitely a factor for why Texan culture is the way that it is. It's like those roots of, we stood our ground and we're not letting anyone take over Texas here. And apparently Texas is like, my dad was telling me that it's one of 2 states that can technically exit the United States whenever they want and be their own country again, as they were at one point, which is interesting to know if they ever would, but they would have all the resources to do so if they ever decide to. And I know everyone always makes jokes about like Texas separating and becoming its own country, but learning the things I did there is like, okay, yeah, I can maybe see it. Like, some of the basically the band that started heavy metal music. Oh, okay, interesting. Neat then. But yeah, and one of the things that was going on there in the events leading up to the Battle of the Alamo there, apparently there was like some cannon that the Texans had that I think that it came from the Mexicans. I'm gonna have to like study up on my history here. And they wanted it back, and the Texans were like, no way, come and take it. And that was like one of the catchphrases. So all the tourist places around there, you'll see like all these shirts and bumper stickers and stuff that have like the symbol of a cannon and the words come and take it. And I mean, I saw stuff like that around the Texas area. Like, even in places like Houston, I'll see like signs or flags that people will have in their yards that say like, come and take it, with like the symbol of the cannon and stuff. So stuff like that is very much entrenched in Texan history. So it was interesting to see that. And one of the places that my dad and I ended up going to was a gun range. He did want to go there. He does like, as a hobby, firearms ever since like 2018, knee injuries and being on workers' compensation. Apparently used to be a hobby of his back when living in Houston. Dropped it on moving into Canada, got back into it again when he was stuck at home anyway and wanted to get into it. And here in Canada, there's very heavy restrictions on firearms, like the kind of firearms that are allowed, barrel length, how many bullets can fit into a magazine. So if a magazine holds more than what's allowed, you have to cap it so that it holds less, so that's within the amount that's allowed. And the gun shop there had a range as well, so my dad and I decided to rent one of the rifles there and shoot at some of the targets. So I've only shot handguns before this point. This was my first time shooting a rifle to try something a little bit different. Now I can say my first rifle was shot in Texas, the land of the guns. And when they were giving us this rifle and bullets and a magazine, they gave us the magazine and the amount of bullets that fit into it, 30. You would never, ever see something like that in Canada. A magazine that holds 30 bullets. Like, holy crap. You load that thing up and you're not running out for a good while. Like, a magazine like that would be so many ways illegal in Canada. Holy crap. So we tried that out, and we tried to do it a decent few days before our trip back, so that we wouldn't have like trace amounts of gunpowder in the airport and get questioned by airport security. So there was that. I hung out a tree once where you were like 12. Nice. Hello, Mortis. You got us like right at the tail end of wrapping up the stream when I'm like super lightheaded. I'm wrapping up like stories of this trip. I might remember more at some later point, but I'm running on a few hours of sleep after the struggles to get home again after flight delays and reschedules and different flights and all that, and I'm about ready to pass out here. I think that's basically oh, the driving. Holy crap. Louisiana and Texas, but probably especially Texas. People there drive like they're playing video games and they can just respawn. Signaling just seems like it's optional. People will just like swerve in front of you just like that. Speed limits, people really don't seem to care. So speed limit will be like 65 miles an hour. We'll be going like 68 and be like the slowest vehicle on the road. And from time to time, there'll be a vehicle that just goes vroom right past you. Or we'll be in like a 3-lane road and there's all these vehicles in front of me. And there's this massive 18-wheeler semi-truck behind me that's blinking its lights at me as like the sign of let them pass. Even though there's a whole wall of vehicles in front of me, I'm like, what the hell do you want from me? Like, fine, if you want to go for it, go for it. So I go into the right lane when I was in the middle lane before, and he goes vroom and stops right to where I was before because it's blocked in. It's like, okay, I don't know what you expected, guy. And there was definitely a couple times that we nearly got in a collision because of people being kind of crazy. So, streak broken, but oh well. Also, alerts are broken. This works. This coming on, the glow of my facecam overlay, so clearly Stream Elements still knows what's going on and that there's alerts, but Streamlabs that actually plays the alert box, that's not working today. Guzma subbed and gifted a sub, and none of those alerts played. So, yeah, get pranked. There's no alerts today. I don't know why. There's also no room lights today, the LEDs. I don't know why. I'll figure it out sometime later. And maybe this is a sign for me to stop using Streamlabs. But let's just pretend that this alert played. I mean, I can go into Streamlabs and I can see alerts from 21 days ago that I can replay, but it doesn't show any of the recent ones. It just doesn't know them. I don't know why. So I can replay this one from 21 days ago from Carvia, and we can just pretend that it's yours, Mortis, because it'd be the same alert anyway. Would be the case. So let's just pretend that that's Mortis's sub alert, because Streamlabs is completely busted. I appreciate the 38-month resub there, Mortis, with the Prime resub. Sorry, my brain is a little bit rattled. I know you can only use that Prime sub in one place each month. I appreciate using it here for 38 months. Holy crap. That is a very long time. And let's pretend that said Mortis and not Carvia. So there's that. But yeah, that's Texas for you. Also, my goodness, there was freeways on top of freeways on top of freeways. Like, here where I live, you'll sometimes have a freeway above a road. But in Texas, I swear, they stack them like they're playing one of those games where you just have to stack the tower as high as you can. Like you'll see at an arcade or something like that for the different prizes, and the blocks go back and forth and you press the button to stop. I don't know what to compare it to. But it seemed like some sort of game where you see how high you can stack it. Like, I think the most that we saw in one area was 6. So it's like, there's the ground, then there's a freeway above that, then 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 a freeway above that. Like, it was insane. It's so completely different to the roads here. Like, both in terms of the driving conditions and just like the amount of freeways. And there's so many lanes. there was roads that my dad was saying when he was there 25 years ago were like 2 or 3 lane roads. There are now like 5 or 6 lane roads and constantly filled with so many cars, and so many places have expanded so much. Like, he was saying 25 years ago, Austin had like, I believe it was 300,000 people about 30 years ago, 25 years ago. Now it's just under 1 million people that live in Austin. Like, things have really, really grown there. It's insane. So, yeah. We also had a lot of problems at a lot of the hotels that we stayed at. 2 of them had basically unusable Wi-Fi. Like, it would just disconnect randomly. It would barely load. It would freeze. You could not use it. One place, the toilet was broken, and it was technically a room that's like priority for those handicapped, and the float would stick. So anytime you wanted to flush the toilet, you had to take the lid off of it, like wiggle the float for it to fill up properly, and then you could flush it. And my dad was really, really pissed off at them, saying, I know what the problem is here, replace the float. And we were there for a few nights, and they did not replace the float, so the thing never flushed properly. And like, my dad got really, really mad, and before we left, he ended up taking a dump in the toilet, and because it didn't flush, he told them how to replace it, and they didn't, and he just left it there. And he told me that when we got in the car, and I was like, oh, okay. So there was that. There was one place where the keys didn't really work. You hold like the little key card in front of the door scanner and it would open. And I would have my key card in my phone case here. And then I'd get back to the room and it would stop working. And I brought that up to the front desk and they'd just be like, oh, don't have it too close to any electronic devices. So you can't have that in your phone case. I was like, oh, okay. And they just took the same card and reset it. And I went to the room and it worked. And then I put it in my wallet from there instead, which would be in my other pocket. And it would still randomly stop working. So there was that. So pretty much every place that we stayed at had one problem or another. One place had no hot water at all. My dad had a shower and he got out and he's like, don't have a shower here. Wait until the next place. There's like no hot water here. It's awful. So yeah, things were a little bit all over the place. I almost knocked down this console that's here now. I have to remember that it's there. Maybe I'll find another place for it later. I wonder, maybe I could just shove it on like one of these shelves here. How tall is it? Taller than a shelf, it looks like. I could, these are square shelves. I could put it corner to corner. Anyway. Man, California is so much better with like the hotels and stuff. Find a different place for it. Yeah, maybe I should. Oh, I don't have space in front of my computer. This is where I keep a trash can. I'll figure something out. I don't know. I can always just not have it here when I'm not actively streaming a game. And it'll be a hot second before I stream any playthroughs off of it anyway. So like, I can always just take it out for now. I just wanted to set it up. Yeah, I never had hotel issues there, huh? I mean, maybe we just got, like, really bad luck with a lot of places that we went to. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. Also, one thing that I wanted to share that I saw in the gun store in Texas, because of course I saw something like this at the gun store in Texas. I just wanted to share this image. Maybe I'll post it in Discord later, maybe I won't. I don't know if I want to post something like this publicly, but one of the posters they had up there was your everyday carry essentials. And so it has the purse there, and it's not really going to focus in, but it has things like the handgun and ammo, and oh, there we go, it focused in. It's your everyday carry essentials. I thought that was kind of funny. And they also had like other posters and little adverts there where it's like, protect your rights to concealed carry and all that. Like, very, very different environment there compared to here. God, that is so Texas, yep. Like, if you had to guess which of the United States that I took a picture of that poster in, like, Texas would probably be an early on guess. Didn't have any bad hotel issues when you evacuated to Houston from Hurricane Ida back then? Lucky. Well, maybe I shouldn't say lucky when you're evacuating from a hurricane. That's a little bit out of taste. But yeah. Also, California firearm laws don't allow 30-round mags. Oh, wow. And yeah, we were chatting at the gun place there about how there's different restrictions based on like different states and how transporting stuff from one state to another can be really tricky because of that. Because yeah, the fact that we were shooting a 30-round magazine from this rifle here, that was certainly something. Probably won't be firing a 30-round magazine again for the rest of my life. I highly doubt that. But yeah, you and me, Harmonia, that's our state. Yeah, that's Texas. I want to see the plate that I got to mount on my Fargo. My dad might have taken them upstairs because he might have wanted to put one on his truck. I can see if they're in the other room here. Damn, I think my dad took the plates upstairs. He probably wants to mount one onto his truck, one of the ones that we got in New Orleans. But I got a plate that says, "Don't mess with Texas," to mount onto the front of my Fargo. And if people ask me, is the truck from Texas? I'll say, no, it was built in Canada. It's a Canadian truck. I'm the one from Texas. Is the case. And then that's another, like, conversation starter and fun thing to have in my truck. And all that. But yeah, never touch a gun in your life, and you probably never will. Yeah, and that's fine. Maybe to go hunting, but that's it. I don't think I could ever see myself going hunting. I'm just fine with going and doing like target practice at like a range. I think that could be kind of fun. But I don't know if I could ever see myself hunting personally. But yeah, going to Michigan with your dad in July. Hopefully the stereotypes are not real. The Michigan stereotypes there. Well, here's hoping. I do have to say though, when I was down in Texas, it was true that a lot of people seem to talk like this. Like, or like maybe not that extremely, but with that kind of southern accent where it's like you can tell they're from the South. And my dad was telling me that while he was living down in Texas, he wouldn't have noticed that because he just got used to it from living there for so long. But meeting up with some of these old friends after so long, he started to notice it that he never noticed before. Yeah, so do the Texas one because that's your home state. Yeah, I probably will do that. I might switch on the New Orleans one at some point to have that one too. If I'm feeling spicy. Probably do it once just to try it out. Well, if you end up visiting here again one day and want to go to the range with us or something like that. It's the kind of thing that I never would have really gotten into. I just kind of tag along like as my dad is doing it as like just an activity for us to do together. I do think that it can be kind of fun just trying to aim and hit the targets, but I'm the kind of person where I don't care if it's a BB gun, if it's a Nerf gun, if it's a real bullet. I just think that's kind of fun to shoot at a target is all. I don't really know any of the intricacies with firearms or anything like that. I wouldn't know the first thing about them. Like, I know how to handle them now, but from doing stuff like this with my dad, but I don't really know much is the case. I know how to be properly safe and all that. And how different it is in Texas. In that gun shop, there was also these handguns that were really, really tiny. Like maybe about yay long and then yay tall. Something like that. These extremely tiny little handguns. And my dad was saying, like, you can never get something like that in Canada because of how easy it is to conceal. Like, that would be illegal. You can't have anything like that. But in a place like Texas, go ahead. But yeah, it's called Southern Belle accent for a reason, yeah. The good old Texas Southern accent, lol, you hear it more in Texas than Louisiana, yeah. Definitely heard it a decent bit there. And yeah, I'm gonna head off for the night here too, as well. Like, I'm still really lightheaded. Like, I can just conk out any moment here. I don't know how many hours of sleep I'm running on. I got maybe 2 at that hotel last night. I've been trying to sleep on the flights. I don't think I did. I was in one of those half awake, half asleep states. So, yeah, I think I'm going to grab a little bit of foods. And then I'm going to bed. And I'm just not going to set my alarm. And I'm going to use tomorrow to, well, do a lot of plant stuff after I wake up. But just sleep until my body feels like it's good and ready to wake up. I could have just not streamed tonight. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I really want to stream tonight. And yeah, it's 1 in the morning. I'm so tired. I think that's all of, like, my story here. I'll probably tell these full stories again in other, like, long playthroughs going on this channel. Like, I'll probably talk about during Assassin's Creed Odyssey, since the Assassin's Creed is a long series on this channel where I talk about a lot of stuff going on. So I'll probably talk about, like, the full story there again. But, yeah, that is the full story of, well, as far as I can remember. There's probably other things right now of this trip here. Overall, it was definitely a good time. It was a very interesting time, quite the experience here, something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And it was something very different, I must say. So, yeah. Appreciate everyone who stopped by and hung out for this first stream in about 3 weeks. And yeah, I'm gonna go sleep and wake up whenever I wake up, I guess. So, until next time, we're gonna go to Fire Island Volcano, I think, next time, which is gonna be super hype. It's got such good music. I'm excited now. So, until then, take care and see ya.